Hello guys, Akin here. Today we are going to create our first project and we will run our first program using IntelliJ and Java. And for this, first of all, you need to have Java, one of the versions, newest version installed on your machine. We have many, but I prefer to go with 8 as it is one of the most used across the companies and by most of the programmers. I will be using 8, but you can have all the versions up to 18 as of today. And to be able to easily code, we need an IDE, which stands for Integrated Development Environment. I prefer to use IntelliJ, but you can use Eclipse and some others. The reason I used IntelliJ, I use it very useful and handful for the beginners. So make sure you have installed both of these before you start with the course. And today, I already have both of them. Today I am going to create the first project, a new project on IntelliJ, and we will run our first program called as Hello World. So I already have IntelliJ installed on my system. So here it's in my applications, and I'm just going to launch it. Here, once you launch IntelliJ, you will see the screen. Simply hit this new project button right here, and it will take you to this new project window. And I need to give it a name. Let me just say Java for beginners. You can give any name. Try not to use spaces in your namings overall. And you can give uppercase or lower cases, but I prefer this way usually. Let me just go with this. Do not touch anything else. Java and IntelliJ is selected here. Simply hit create. Once I create, I get this new window. My project has been created. Now this is going to be my workspace. In the future, we will see a few more features of IntelliJ, but as of now, I will just go simply show here that my project is created, and under project, I have SRC, which I am going to use most of the time. We will create a lot of packages and classes under this directory. And here is just my external libraries. All the Java jars is here under, like this is 8, and all the Java libraries basically I'm going to use. So here come on the SRC source, right click and create our first package. So usual package is nothing but just a folder that holds many other packages and Java classes to help us to keep our project in organized way, in a better way. So I'm going to create first package, and I will just name it as first package, to be honest. So there are a few things that we need to be careful when we name the packages. Usually it is preferred to start with lowercase, and we are not allowed to have any spaces in the package name, so don't give any spaces. That's the reason I use here a underscore instead of space. Another thing I could do is just make every other word starts with uppercase. That makes our package names more readable. But as of now, I will just follow this pattern. Feel free to go with any. So that once I hit enter, I get my first package right here. First package, as I said, it's nothing but just a folder that holds some other packages and classes that we will create. So now I will right click on this, select new again, and I am going to create the first class. Let me just call it first program. So now there are a few things that we need to be careful when we name our classes as well. I always start with uppercase. This is a naming convention followed by most of the programmers in the companies and everywhere. And I start with uppercase, and every other word, the first index, I go with uppercase. make sure you follow the same pattern. As I said, it is common. So I will hit enter and we will get our first class. This is our first class. It comes with the package name as it is created under the first package. This is always the first statement in our classes. And after that, we have our public class and the name that I give as first program. This definitely has meanings, but we will learn in the future. As of now, it's not a big deal. Make sure you just go inside those curly braces block of the class, and we will call a main method. Main method is going to help us to execute some program, and it is known as public static void main, and parenthesis, string, square brackets, arcs. Then go outside of the parentheses, open another curly braces and hit enter. So make sure that you have one opening and closing curly braces for the main method and another one for the first program. So overall, guys, in Java, we have to follow each opening parenthesis, curly braces, or square bracket with a closing one for sure. Otherwise, we will get some compiler errors. Yet another thing, all those keywords, they have specific meanings, they have purpose, and you cannot break the rules. You cannot just name it as starting with uppercase P, for example. You see, you get compiler error displayed everywhere, and you cannot continue with that. So if we were to talk a little bit about main method, which is really beneficial to know a little bit more about it. So I will just use double slashes here. Double slash helps us to put some comments in our code. They are not executable. It will just stay here to explain. I will explain few things, but overall it will not be considered as part of the code that I'm going to execute. So here I will say main method is the start point for the execution. So basically, when we get Java, it comes with few components as JDK, GRE, and JVM. JVM is where our code will be executed, and the first thing that JVM looks at is the main method. So whenever it finds the main method, it starts executing the block of the main method from top to bottom and left to right. So here we are going to put a simple code statement as system out print line ln, and I will say hello world. So please make sure that you follow the uppercase S here, and then you put the hello world inside the double quotation, and your code statement must always be ended with a semicolon. If you miss this, again, you have compiler error everywhere. So we have to end every single line of code with a semicolon. So after you complete this piece of code, just hit this run button. You can just run it with shortcuts always given here as well. So I will just run, and we will see what this code is doing. It just prints the hello world in our console, as this is the method that we use from system class. We will go in details in the future. We will understand exactly what is system. It is simply a class. Out is a variable, instance variables of the system class, and print line is a method function. Java has thousands of classes and many methods in those classes. Each method has their own task, and the task of this print line method is to print the given expression here into the console. It's very handful, it's very useful when it comes to debugging the code. So that's why we will use this. And that's it. We just executed our first program. I hope you enjoyed. In the next session, we will continue with one more method similar to print line, but there is a difference. See you in this class.